And find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's the J Lunch Club. Here we are about to have lunch with Barbara Arnwine and Ted Williams. And I think Peel De Silva has stepped into the studio. Attorney Barbara Arnwine, president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition, is internationally renowned for her contributions on critical justice issues, including the passage of the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1991 and the 2006 reauthorization of provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Currently, she also serves as co-chair and facilitator of the National Commission for Voter Justice, the Millennial Votes Matters convenings, and the Voting Rights Alliance. She was the head of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights from 1989 until June of 2015, and she now holds the honorific title of President Emeritus. Barbara Arnwine, welcome forward to your show.
It's always a pleasure to be here, and I love, the work we do at the Transformative Justice Coalition. So much going on right now.
Oh, we're going to hear a lot of that in just a moment. I'm also honored, Barbara, that Dr. Ted Williams, an educator, actor, and author who teaches political science at the City Colleges of Chicago, graduated from the University of Chicago, Rutgers University, and Northern Seminary, is also joining us on our program today. Dr. Williams, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Hello. Wonderful to be here with you guys. Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah as well.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about that. Barbara, this is your show, and so I'm going to be following your lead. But I did want to share with you that we had a very, very interesting conversation in the first hour with Liz King, and we talked about the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and I'm also particularly honored that Peel De Silva is also joining us. Peel is a renowned scholar and also a major contributor in backroom diplomacy throughout the nation and on behalf of all of the American people. He operates in areas not only in terms of public discourse, but in the areas that we do not see. And he's not afraid to tell the truth about what's going on in our world. Dr. De Silva, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Very good to be on the show, Jesse.
So, Barbara, I was saying, and I'm so glad you're here, and happy holidays, happy New Year's to everyone. Barbara, I was saying that the reflection on the 250 years since the Declaration of Independence, which will dominate the national conversation next year, and we'll be reflecting upon what the nation has become. We'll be reflecting upon its past, its present, and its future. The Transformative Justice Coalition, I don't know an organization that does more work in the present in terms of fulfilling the aspirational goals of the Declaration of Independence. Since you've been on our show, you've been to the Supreme Court, you've been traveling the states, you've been registering voters. Barbara.
Turn them out to vote.
Barbara, what is the current state in your mind of the Declaration of Independence?
We're still stuck in its contradictions. I mean, you have a declaration that talks about, in the course of human events, we find that, all people are created equal, and it wasn't true then, isn't true, it isn't true now as to how government honors that promise. At that time, that was instituted. There were most of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence were what? Slaveholders. And so we have to, be honest about how stuck we are. They signed it knowing that at the time they were oppressing and murdering and slaughtering Native Americans. I mean, we have to be honest about our origins, because you can't escape the gravitational pull of the past unless you have the velocity of truth and honesty and vision for the future. And so what we have right now is we're going to be hearing a whole lot of, the founding fathers are going to be, quote, lifted up like gods and icons. And we're going to hear a lot of other things, but we got to be honest that they were humans. They were capable of self-interest. They were capable of greed. They were capable of theft. And we just have to be honest about it. And that even though their aspirations were highfalutin, their realities were not. And it is that contradiction that keeps us in the, I would say, in the white supremacist, grasp that we remain in. And our need is that, the people of this country won't differ. And our need is to be able to unite and to make that difference happen, and to take that Constitution and its vision, broaden it some now, and make the vision much more achievable.
PL, just before we come forward, we have about 2 minutes. I'm thinking of the conversation that I had with you and Dr. Crom on our last show, when I quoted specifically Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who said today, if she were recommending to a new country whether or not to copy the Constitution of the United States, she said she couldn't do it in good conscience. PL, what's happening in the world with respect to democracy?
We are in a very bad place, and the mask has slipped as far as the United States is concerned, and we are seeing naked imperialism being demonstrated by President Trump and all his enablers. And we should not forget the Heritage Foundation in this, and all the thousands of people that they employed to support the Trump administration. Thankfully, there seems to be fractures, and the Heritage Foundations, there seems to be a split, and part of them are going off with former Vice President Pence. And the MAGA movement is also fracturing. So these are the things that are enabling and supporting President Trump in all the terrible things that he's doing worldwide. And unless you're a strong country like China, weak countries get trampled on, like what Derek Chauvin did by standing on the neck of that poor man who said, "I cannot breathe."
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're going to try and get unstuck with Ted Williams when we come forward. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580 in just a moment.
Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code STATE to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STATE to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code STATE.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. This is the J Lunch Club. It's Tenacious Tuesdays with Barbara Arnwine, the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition. Barbara Arnwine shows us the work that we have to do in the present, domestically and around the world. PL Da Silva takes us around the world as a contributor on our program to show us from the outside how people see us, and from the inside some of the things that we're doing that contribute to the way in which they view us. And none other than Dr. Ted Williams. Dr. Williams gives us the inspiration to keep the fight moving forward. So grateful that our three contributing partners are here with us on the Barbara Arnwine Show. Can I get Ted in this conversation by asking him to help unpack this point that Barbara made about being stuck? We are stuck since the Declaration of Independence, Dr. Williams.
Let's get unstuck, shall we, brothers and sisters? Before we go into 2026, we got to go in 2026 unstuck. And this is a great moment for us to reflect and think about at this 250-year juncture, if you will, of this nation. What does it mean, this declaration? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What does that look like going forward? See, America, we are a young nation with a short memory. And we like to look at the future and forget about the past. But I think this is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us to do some self-reflection. You know, at the end of every year, we stop and we go, hey, I didn't do this well. I want to have a New Year's resolution. Maybe we need some next 250-year resolutions for this country so that we can actually move into this new time and space with allowing us to really live out the principles of this declaration, that all men are what? Created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. I'm a firm believer, as you are, Brother Jackson here, that this is a theological quest that we are on. It is connected very clearly to the idea and the identity of a Creator. And because that Creator has given us these rights, the government ought to protect these rights. The government is instituted among men to secure these rights according to the Declaration. And so we have to decide that we're going to go forward differently. We have to look at the past and say we have not fulfilled this for many, many Americans, millions of Americans. We have never fulfilled this goal and this promise, and yet we can go forward better and stronger. And if we deal with history in an honest way in this country, then we can move forward. But if we decide to do what many Americans want to do, which is ignore our history and ignore the failings of this country in that way, I don't think we'll ever be able to be what America could be, let alone we talk about being great again. We'll never be great in the first place if we don't fulfill the promises of the Declaration to all people. And so I'm excited about being a part of that journey. And I hope that the folks at the table I know who are doing the work every day, we got to continue to press on, because we ultimately make this country work if we can make it work for all people.
Appreciate that, Dr. Williams. Barbara, I don't know anyone who's working harder than the Transformative Justice Coalition. You're expecting some major Supreme Court decisions in the near term that could alter the very structure of the vision of democracy that Dr. Williams just talked about, as well as Dr. De Silva's understanding of what we were for a brief window in the 250-year history of the United States. Barbara Arnwine, the Voting Rights Act itself could reduce the number of African Americans in Congress by half, and it could also eliminate nearly 190 Black state representatives before 2028. Barbara Arnwine?
Yes, we have to be very clear that, I've always said that America, the United States of America, that is, has been torn between two, dynamics and two visions. One vision is of a white supremacist, male-dominated, patriarchal society based on capitalism and based on, whatever policies serve and benefit that class. I've also said the other counter vision has been one of a greater inclusive society that is equal for all people. You saw that because the Declaration said all men are created equal. It did not say all humans, did not say all people, it said all men. And it meant that, at that time. So all these originalists, all these quote, women sitting on the court and others talking about they are originalists. Are you kidding me? I mean, you wouldn't be sitting there if you really believe that. So Pam Bondi, all of them, the original vision did not include white women as equals. So I just want people to be very clear that, and it didn't include, as we saw in our original, fight for voting rights, didn't include the poor. The white poor and the white non-landed gentry. So, so it's important for us to know that because the second vision says, we got to have a broader society. We got to have everybody really be equal. We got to, give everybody their voting rights. You got to be representative, not just fake representative, which is what all this redistricting mess is about. It's, an attempt to skew who can vote for whom and to make sure the politicians pick their voters, not the voters pick the politicians. It's all backwards. So and I understand that we're not in a quote democracy, that we're in a Republican democracy, but the basis of that is the concept of representation. And if you don't have real representation, then you don't have any form of democracy or a republic. What you see, and what I've always said is, and people didn't want to hear it, is that folks are happy with an oligarchy, a plutocracy. A whole lot of folks want a theocracy. That's white nationalists, Christian nationalists. And so we just got to be honest about the fact that what we want, this multiracial, democracy that's just and inclusive, is a vision that has to be fought for. It can't just be assumed. And a whole lot of people like to fake and lie about what our realities are, but it's critical to us to understand that we only get what we want by fighting for it, because every other force that's set up with power in this country is not in our favor.
PL,
so,
I do want
to that's why the Constitution is the real document for me, because it says we the people, and that's where the real power lies.
PL, I do want you to respond to Barbara's thought, but in this moment, after having listened to her and Dr. Williams, I do want to say that if I were an immigrant, why would I want to come here in the first place?
That's a very, very good question. That's a very good question. And we can see this playing out in higher education, not just immigrants who are not coming through the Mexican border, but also our higher education has been torpedoed by the Trump administration. Foreign students who pay the most amount of money to give the profits that our higher education industry needs are not coming to the US anymore. They're going to Canada, they're going to Europe, they're going to England, anywhere but the US. So what does that tell us? It's a Trump negative effect.
And if I may be able to add to that, really, this question really speaks to the heart of what this country is. I listen to a lot of people sort of bemoan this idea that America will no longer be what it used to be. It won't look the way it used to be, and it won't sound the way it used to sound, that sort of thing. And I'm always pressing against that vision to tell people that the evolution of America, by its very nature, is going to be multi-ethnic, multinational, multi-religious. What do you think these documents were intended to do? And by their very nature, they will lead us through this evolutionary process to become a place where there are people from all parts of the world there. That is the beauty of America. And I think that, once again, this 250-year anniversary is a great time to stop and say, hey, wait a second. You all who are afraid of this, you all who are anti-immigration, you all are anti-American. Right. And if we're going to go forward in America, in the true vision of America, that is exactly what we must do.
I agree. Let me just, Barbara, let me take this little moment to ask you, how can we support the work of the Transformative Justice Coalition?
You can go today, as soon as you can, to TJ Coalition, tjcoalition.org. We are a fighting organization, folks. We're lean, mean, and we are one fighting machine. And we are committed to making sure that the true vision of this country needs to be achieved.
Barbara, just before you get to that point, and you're on this side of the tax season, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And people, you want to donate now so that you can claim it for your 2025 taxes. And so you want to donate right this minute, tjcoalition.org. You got until midnight tomorrow, right? To midnight on the 31st to get this done. So we are really begging people to give, give to all these organizations that you've been cheering on, that have put people in the streets, that are out there doing this work. Give to the groups that have been fighting in the courts and making sure things are happening. Give to the groups that are organizing voters who people are trying to suppress, trying to drive away from the polling booths. Give to those kinds of organizations. Give to tjcoalition.org, Transformative Justice Coalition. We do the work. That's the one thing nobody can deny. They might hate us, but they hate us because we do the work. And that's the truth of the matter. And can I say one thing? When I was talking bad about the Declaration of Independence, I had to remind myself that Frederick Douglass had a radical vision of that Declaration of Independence. And his radical vision drove the best aspects of that Declaration of Independence. And he literally argued it, over and over and over, to get people to understand what the promise of this nation could be and where its failures were.
I am struck, PL, by the idea that so many immigrants come to the United States with a certain expectation that somehow, what we say, Dr. Williams, in the African-American community, that somehow to be white is to have colder ice, that something about coming to America changes and forces us to diverse ourselves from our true nature, our true ethnicity, our true cultures. But my dad referred to this as kind of more like vegetable soup. Where every vegetable has its own unique ingredient, but we contribute to a common broth. That makes sense. PL, is the idea of a multiracial democracy also on the retreat in this era?
No, You simply can't chase all the immigrants out of this country. It's an impossibility. It's a pipe dream that has been smoked on some couch in the White House.
Without Melania, right? There would be no Melania. Come on now. No JD Vance's wife also. Come on now.
It's impossible. This is it's just PR. It's the thing that they're spinning to try to hold on to power. That's all about it. Getting us to hate other people. That's what they're doing. They're scapegoating people.
If I may add to that as well, as we were jokingly saying, hey, there are certain kind of immigrants here that they're totally fine with. I think this larger question is a lot more sort of pernicious, this idea that, and this has been consistent in American history, we want certain kinds of immigrants to come. It's been in the federal code for many, many years, and others are not of value. We have to push back against that. As Brother Jackson just said, we believe in the value of certain people's communities, certain people's ethnicity more than others. And we've got to push back against anti-Blackness, anti-brown conversation in this country and let people know that these people who are Somalians, who are in Minnesota, have just as much value as the Afrikaners that we have coming here. And we have to make sure that that is very clear going forward.
I don't think it gets any clearer than that. Barbara, I'm sorry. We have about 15 seconds. Go ahead.
Hey, and Ted, I mean, you notice they're not talking about who they're going to get rid of for losing all those billions of dollars of war heads. They're not talking about who they're going to get rid of for all these other, crimes that are way above anything they're talking about happened with Somalians in Minnesota. I mean, the reality is that we definitely are anti-Black as a country right now. There's a lot of anti-Blackness being fed, and we got to fight it. And I'm just, really delighted that so many people are out here trying to create something different and better.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Tenacious Tuesdays. We're on the grind with Barbara Arnwine. Our special guests are Dr. Ted Williams and Dr. P.L. De Silva. More when we come forward on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Happy New Year, everybody.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The city of Chicago has released its New Year's Eve safety plan as large crowds are expected downtown for a riverfront event hosted by Chance the Rapper for Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve.
We're going to make sure that we have sufficient manpower. We've already made provisions for that.
Black Police Superintendent Larry Snelling says officers will be highly visible and strictly enforce the 10 p.m. curfew for minors. A New Jersey judge has ruled that 2 Clark Police Department officers caught using racial slurs can be fired. The judge rejected claims that delays in the investigation should block discipline. Police Chief Pedro Matos and Sergeant Joseph Teston were secretly recorded using slurs and collected 6-figure pay while suspended. And Black Grammy-nominated gospel legend Richard Smallwood has died at the age of 77. Variety reports Smallwood died from complications related to kidney failure in Maryland. He was celebrated as a legend whose influence shaped modern gospel music. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In La Cañada, Flint Ridge on the 210 eastbound before you get to Gould Avenue. We've got that accident blocking the 2 right lanes. It's going to be stopped from Angeles Crest Highway. In Silver Lake on the 5 south end of Glendale Boulevard, got a stall. It's blocking the 2 right lanes. It's going to be heavy from the 134. And in Westchester on the 405 and northbound before you get to La Tijera Boulevard, a new accident blocking the carpool and left lane there.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Back-to-back losses have put the Rams in a tough position for the NFC playoffs. The Rams failed to land the number 1 seed in the NFC and will not have a home playoff game. If Seattle beats San Francisco Saturday to claim the number 1 seed, the Rams will be the 5th seed and will play a wildcard game at Carolina or Tampa Bay. Whoever wins the NFC South. If San Francisco beats Seattle, the Rams fall to the number 6 seed, which will send them to Chicago or Philadelphia. Either scenario does not look good for the Rams. They need to put together a strong performance Sunday against Arizona in their final regular season game to tune up for the playoffs. It's going to be a bumpy ride in the postseason. Happy birthday to Tiger Woods. The 15-time major champion turned 50 today. Tiger is eligible for the PGA Senior Tour if he chooses to go that route. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your fit. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. This is our final show and our final two segments of 2025, and I'm so grateful that we are in Tenacious Tuesdays with our most tenacious host, Barbara Arnwine. Barbara Arnwine is always on the grind. She is an attorney. She is the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition, and she might be one of the most active civil rights leaders in the nation today. Barbara, welcome forward to the show. I think Barbara's muted. I'm sure, Barbara.
It's a pleasure to be here. And thanks for all that you do. At least you haven't done the countdown, so you're in my good graces today.
No countdown today. We'll have one, though, on December 31st. And I want to thank well, Barbara, Gina said you should not have a mind.
Free Barbara! Thank you. Uh-oh, now you're muted.
And our very special guests in this hour are Dr. Ted Williams and Dr. P.L. De Silva. Barbara, I know that we're grinding today, but I do want to ask Ted a question. Ted, when an immigrant comes to the United States and reads the Constitution of the United States, they see a linear document, they see a static document, they see words on paper. But the Constitution behind each of these amendments, there is a history that is as profound as the nation itself, that each of these rights has been earned. And there is a struggle associated with each of these rights. And for African Americans, and really for all of the American people who believe in universal health care, or the right to decent, safe, and affordable housing, or the right to a clean, safe, and sustainable environment, or the right to a public education of equal high quality, the turning point of the Constitution is really the 10th Amendment, where the Jeffersonians and the states' rights activists to protect their property all said that if it's not written specifically in the Constitution of the United States, it's a state right. It's local control. And I think that democracies around the world that modeled themselves after the U.S. Constitution, they see the Constitution, maybe it's one man, one woman having the right to vote, but they don't see when they read our Constitution that these are not inherited rights, these are earned rights. And therefore, the turning point becomes the human right not to be in slavery, the human right to have equal protection, and the human right, initially for Black men, but ultimately women with the 19th Amendment. Behind these rights, Dr. Williams, is history.
Yeah, and you bring up the 10th Amendment, and I was listening to a news broadcast just the other day around how there will be a number of states that will be moving for the first time to have a $15 an hour minimum wage. And the federal minimum wage is still $7 an hour. And I was thinking a lot about why is it that we are in a situation where the federal government is behind the states on this basic human right, this basic idea that people would go to work and they would get wages. Obviously, the federal minimum wage is a floor, but the reality is these states have the power to either, to go beyond. And so in my mind, as you, brother, have talked about so much, this idea that we ought to have these amendments, we ought to have these federal guarantees of living wages, living housing, adequate housing. We ought to have federal guarantees that make sure that across the board, not state to state, but across the board, that we have this notion of justice and equality for all people. And I think when people come to this country and they don't sort of understand kind of how this history has worked, how, number one, the 10th Amendment, obviously, is very important in this conversation, but the 19th Amendment, women's rights, and the 13th, 14th, the 15th Amendment that gave African-American many of the rights that we have today. When people don't have an understanding of that, they don't understand that we got to continue to fight and that they're still a part of this struggle. And that if we just come into the country and we just sort of enjoy these rights without having respect and paying homage to those who fought for those rights, we'll be in jeopardy of losing those. And I think, once again, if they understand that we are not at the end of the chapter or the end of the book when it comes to the American experiment, we might not even be a third of the way through, a quarter, a tenth of the way through, that there's so much that we have to still fight for. And I think, once again, as I was thinking about this relationship between the federal government and state governments, I was thinking about how much more we have to press our federal government to take the lead so that the states are not able to just give us a different way of life and quality of life, depending on what kind of local leadership that they have.
Last week, Dr. Karam spoke very clearly on how democracy is fledging, if you will, around the world, in large measure because democracy came to them top down and not bottom up. And therefore, the rights themselves are not completely appreciated by the, if you will, the landed gentry or by the elites within these societies who take advantage of the system, whether it's democratic representation or not. They're always in power. And therefore, the bottom, if you will, or people who are struggling, the poorest of the poor, are not really part of the process. And that, too, is contributing to the decline of democracy.
We need to organize. That's the only way. It's like the civil rights movement. We, the majority of the people at the bottom, we need to get together, get out the vote, register to vote, vote out this Republican administration and the atrocious Trump and all his acolytes out of office, holding office, whether it's on Capitol Hill, but also the smaller elections are important, whether they're judges or municipal elections. All those things are important, and that's where we need to start, because that's where they started. If you looked at Reagan, if you looked at Nixon, Reagan, Bush, and Trump, they've been destroying our democracy, and immigration has been a supplant to slavery, right? If you look at how immigrants who come from Central and South America, how they work, they're the people who actually do work in this country. The hard work, the construction work, all of these kinds of things. It's value creation. And these are people who replaced the slaves who were brought from Africa. And we should not forget to pay homage to the migrants who are working, whether they're legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. These people are human beings and they work tremendously hard, and they are part of the working class. And the working class needs to unite. We need to unionize. We need to fight the fat cats. We need to fight the billionaires. We really do, if we are to save this country.
Barbara, I'm going to talk about this when we come forward on the program, because in a real sense, the experiment is still flawed. And I've shared on your program, Barbara, On the Grind, that when you think about 44 million Americans who work 1, 2, or maybe even 3 jobs, they still need affordable care, and the role of the federal government to make sure they have some form of health care. In a few short days, just a couple of days, many of them are going to see skyrocketing premiums. And that's a flaw in the American experiment. Anytime the right to a gun is considered a constitutional human right, but the right to health care of equal high quality for all Americans is not considered a human right, is outside the grace of the dignity of our country. Anytime we need a supplemental nutrition and assistance program for people who work and who go to school hungry, that suggests a significant problem with the system that we're living in. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. You're on the grind with Barbara Arnwine. Our final segment of the year is coming up when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Attention.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-237-8585. That's 800-237-8585. Again, that's 800-237-8585.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. You're on the grind on the J Lunch program, J Lunch Club on KBLA Talk 1580 with Barbara Arnwine. Barbara, welcome forward to the show. And our very special guests, Ted Williams and PL De Silva, are also joining us in the final live segment of the year. Gentlemen, welcome forward to On the Grind with Barbara Arnwine. All y'all muted. I can't believe it.
Thank you. There we go. All right.
Thank you very much.
Everybody's muted together. Barbara, kind of a countdown. Barbara, what can we expect in the new year coming forward?
A whole lot. I mean, we got the Calais case coming, which will be a direct attack on African American and Latino political power and Native American political power. We're going to have to really get ready, folks. I mean, this is going to be a battle that's going to dominate the political and legal landscape for years. The court's going to do some evil stuff, and we're going to have to really fight, because the whole purpose of what they're going to do is to disenfranchise and weaken political power for people of color, because we are seen as the visionaries and the people who believe in a whole different kind of America. You know, I just want to establish that one of my favorite courses that I've ever taught was I did a comparative constitutional analysis of the Brazilian Constitution. I started with the Haitian Constitution of 1800 and 1801, then the Brazilian Constitution, the South African Constitution, the Indian Constitution, the Constitution of India, that is, and the Constitution of the United States, and did a comparative study about how they all function and how they operate, how they center federal and local state governments, decentralized or centralized, looked at the role of race and how they dealt with racial injustice issues across all of those multiple constitutions. And it is very important for people. You know, we're so convinced of that whole American exceptionalism that we have no clue about where we really stand relative to the rest of the globe. And I would really urge people that if you got some extra time on your hands, read some of those constitutions and look at what are rights that are enumerated, rights that we don't have under the U.S. Constitution. The beauty of some of these constitutions, like the Brazilian one, had to be rewritten after they came out of the military coup. So it's more younger, but also they created because of their experience of having been ruled by fascists. They created a much more, palatable way of amending and interpreting their constitution and protecting their justices. The South African Constitution was built understanding of the weaknesses of the U.S. Constitution and all of its failures and all of its probabilities. Indian Constitution, they looked at all of these and in building that one. So there's so much to learn, and nobody has a perfect constitution in my view, but still, I just wanted to emphasize that there's a lot that we can learn from others. And I wanted to say two other things, definitely. Shout out to the family and condolences to the family of Richard Smallwood. What a loss. What a loss. What a spiritual contributor he has been to so many of us. So it's a great loss. And I wanted to hit on that point. One of the most popular articles out right now is an article of an African brother who's visiting his cousin in I believe Atlanta, Georgia, and he talks about how he couldn't wait to go back home because his home back home was bigger, his home it was cleaner, people were friendlier, all these things. But you know what his number one thing was? I couldn't believe how hard Americans had to work. And how the work-life balance is so totally non-existent compared to, in his opinion, compared to the life he lived. And he was like, never would I want to live here. Never.
Barbara, can I, and for our three guests, PL, let me allow you to have a minute and 30 seconds for your word of hope going into the new year. Then I'm going to go to Ted, and then we'll all yield the final minute and a half to Attorney Arnwine for her word of hope going into the new year. P.L. De Silva.
I am hopeful that we, the people, will organize, will register to vote, and in the midterm elections, we will show who is boss. We will show who is boss. And that is what I'm hopeful for. So all these terrible fascists and their pipe dreams, we're going to show them. We are going to show them who is boss. We, the people, power to the people.
I appreciate that, PL. Yeah, power to the people. How about that?
Amen.
Dr. Williams.
I must say that I am concerned about our country going forward. I will end with a word of hope, but I must say that when I think about where we are, I worry if we've not learned the lessons from the past. I think about what Dr. King talked about with the triplets of militarism, racism, and materialism. And I am very concerned that we have not moved beyond that. In certain ways, under this leadership, we are moving in the wrong direction with respect to this. However, the beauty of a democracy is that people don't get to be in office forever. The beauty of a democracy is that every 2 years and every 4 years, we come back to the people and say, is this the direction that you want to go in? The beauty of a democracy is that the people's moral compass, their spiritual life can be reflected in the public policies of the nation. And so my hope right now is that we will take this moment, we will reverse course, we will learn the lessons of the past, we will understand this militarism, racism, and materialism will ultimately destroy this country, destroy it. And we will not have another 250 years if we don't get this. My brother, am so encouraged by the people we have in this room to believe that we have folks who get it, who are organizing, who are strategizing, who are educating, and we are going to ultimately, I think, and I don't mean to speak, in a ridiculous way and overinflate our importance, but I think that people like this are going to save this country. And brothers and sisters, I am with you all. Let us do it, and let us remind this country of what will ultimately make it great, not going back to some nostalgia for people who want to make it great again.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Our final word of hope and our final live show in the new year, in this year, 2025, and can't wait to bring all of us forward into the new year. Barbara Arnwine.
People of the Los Angeles, people of this world, this has been a tough year, right? We've seen so many hardships, so many struggles. And I just want to remind us that in the midst of any ugly struggle, where you're dealing with an administration that is, I want to say, that is based on a white eugenicist ideology, not just supremacist, but eugenicist ideology, that we need to understand how critical it is for us to do everything in our power to advance. The ugliness is always confronted with beauty, and the beauty has been the people. Thank you to every single human being who got out there and fought this year, who walked, who marched, who protested, who held up signs, who said, I stop it.
Amen, sister.
Who protected their neighbors, who did all, who fed the hungry, for who lost their jobs under this evil Doge scheme and all the rest of it. I just want to say thank you, people. Thank you for being what we should be as a nation. Thank you for modeling it in your daily life, because that's what will carry us forward. Because the whole momentum in this time has to be to move forward, to overcome. We will get the justice we deserve. We will get the victory we deserve, because all of you will not turn your back on the fight that must happen. Thank you so much. Love you, everybody. And love my Los Angeles, Angelinos. You come through that fire, right? You literally came through the fire.
We do want to
thank you.
We do want to thank Tavis Smiley. We want to thank Andy. We want to thank Taz. Thank you all. Happy New Year to you and your families. And thank you for being part of our show on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.